Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam, and in this video I want to talk a little bit about edging. I created a bed in my front yard and did a little series on putting in a new bed over here. And in that first video I talked some about trench edging. That's how I go about edging in my yard, differentiating the bed from the turf and giving a spot for the mulch to just kind of rest up against the turf. The main reason that I don't use any sort of plastic edging or concrete edging or anything like that is because after you mow your grass, you're almost certainly going to have to use a weed eater up against those hard surfaces. You can't really get your mower right up to the edge of it. I really like to create the lowest maintenance landscape that I can, and just what I have found over the years is creating a trench along the edge of your turf and allowing the mulch just to fall in against that is the best way to be able to mow and not have to weed eat after or have any kind of cleanup after. You need very gentle curves for this. This is why I picked this spot to shoot. I've got a really nice gentle curve here, so my mower has no problem going along this turf. It actually needs to be mowed right now, but my mower has no problem going along this turf right up to the edge and not have to do any additional work after I am finished mowing. The way to go about this is to take a shovel and just go right down in the dirt there and kick this piece back up in here. If you're creating new beds, you may end up with grass on one side from where you're splitting something up, and then you're going to have to get rid of this grass on this side. I don't care how you go about that. Pickaxe is what I have traditionally used on landscape jobs, because you can just take pickaxe or even a shovel like this and just scrape along the bottom of it and get rid of it. But it needs to be removed before you mulch. Mine is already complete here, and my edging has been done in the past, so mine is super easy. I mean, I can just do this very, very easily. If it's a new space that you're edging, you can rent a mechanical edger. It's a very violent machine. Any landscaper will tell you this. This is about the only day I ever wore goggles landscaping is when you used a trench edger. It's a very violent machine, but it cuts just a perfect edge along your turf, and once it's done one time, after that in the future, it's easy to go back in here and clean these edges up once it's done the first time. There's also a half moon edger, which is kind of like a shovel, but it just has a half moon at the bottom, and it has a place on each side for you to stand on and allows you to cut edges as well. I'll link one of those in the description below. I've never really had to use one. Just physically strong enough to drive a shovel down even in even places that don't have edging. But if you aren't, that half moon edger is the way to go, because you just use your body weight and it slices down in there, and it just slices as you go, and then you come back with your shovel or whatever and cut the soil actually out of the space. Works pretty effectively. Again, the main thing to consider when you're edging your turf is long, gentle curves, and you can achieve this by laying out a water hose on the ground if it's a warm day. Sometimes hoses don't cooperate all that well, but you can lay a hose out for the shape that you want and then go along it and cut it out. You can also use the upside down spray paint. I've done that. I used to do that on landscape jobs for customers. I could just go and spray paint it really quickly, and then the customer and I knew we were on the same page. So that's a very effective way to go about laying them out, and I would encourage you to do that. Don't just go out there and start cutting away. Do some demarcation, move it around a few times, make sure you're happy with it before you do it. Once you edge this thing, like I say, it's very easy to go back. I'm going to make quick work of this. It wouldn't surprise me if I have 1,000 feet here to do, but I'll stand on the grass side right here and just take this, slam it down in here, and then occasionally I'll stand back and I'll make sure my curve is going exactly like I want it, and quick and easy that way. See, here's an example of just a long flowing line where that mower is going to be able to stay on that grass side and not end up needing a weed eater. I'll go down the driveway with the edge of my shovel as well and push some of that back, and just makes a nice, neat and orderly spot. When I finish mulching here, it'll look very sharp. If I kick any grass into the inside, which I'm doing, I'm going to cut a little bit of grass along the edge, just where I had overseeded it a little bit. You may want to go back in here and just pick those few pieces up before you mulch, because it will find its way up through the mulch for sure. You can see from the space that I did a couple weeks ago just how neat and orderly it is right along the turf, and I don't have to do any weed eating or anything like that. So thank you very much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for future videos. Thanks for watching.